What's up, my homegirl, Cheryl? I think, hold on, Cheryl, I can't hear you. I can't hear nothing you say. Uh-oh, I can hear some knocking. I still can't hear you. I can hear like you're knocking with the camera, but I can't hear you. Nope.
All right.
There we go. There we go.
Oh, okay.
So what
Now
was it?
here. Okay. I'm trying to set it up where I'm not holding it, but I might have to hold it.
No, we good. We good. I called myself getting here a few minutes early in case we needed a,
Technical
few kinks out.
difficulty. All right. I'm trying to set it up. All right. Can you hear me?
Absolutely loud and clear.
Okay. Looks like my head is cut off a little bit.
You are right. It is cut off a little bit, but I don't know what to say.
And just move it back a little bit. What about now?
I can see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have my notes.
I'm glad you got some. Because I said, I don't know what me and Cheryl are going to talk about today. I got a pretty good idea, though.
I know I wanted to talk to you, but first of all, I just want to thank God for another day, another week. Morning by morning, new mercies I see, and today is the 1st of May, so I thank God for a new beginning.
Absolutely.
Before we even get started. But the topics that I wanted to touch bases on and hear your thoughts on was the Biden I don't know if it was the State of the Union, but it was the address to the nation. And 3 things stood out particularly to me. Minimum wage increase to $15, the job stimulus package, and both Biden and Harris saying that America is not racist. So you can touch on either of those things.
For one, I think we're long overdue for a minimum wage increase. Companies are making an absurd amount of money, and the only thing they're not doing is paying their employees a fair living wage, right? So I use Richmond for example. You could go somewhere and find an apartment to live, and you're looking for a 2-bedroom or on a decent side of town here because it's Virginia and the cost of living wasn't so bad. You could get an apartment for $700-800. Now those same places that you could live for $700, $800, maybe $900, they want $1,500 a month. Okay, I ain't got no problem paying $1,500 a month for some quality, but at the same time, where's the pay that justify that this area should be charging $1,500 a month to live in? So if you're the employer, you can't say to me, well, the cost of living in Virginia is not as much as in New York, but you still paying me in Virginia like this is Virginia in '93, instead of saying, okay, the cost of living and everywhere is going up. We're making more money, but we still paying our workers the same amount of money, and they can't take care of their families. So as much as I believe that we're in a capitalist country, and that you want to be able to make as much money as you can, but what point do you say I kind of maxed the ship out, but I still have to take care of my employees. And I don't think that people will ever say and do the right thing with that. As far as Biden and Harris and talking about this is not a racist country, trust me, they know it's a racist country. They have to say it's not a racist country. Okay. The fact that they are all on the phone, all in the middle of the verdict when Chauvin was there and talking about and saying all the things that they said, they understand that it's racist. But you got 350 million people in America plus, and for only 12% of that is black. They still have to worry about the majority not feeling alienated. So they have to say, as the president and vice president, that this country is not racist. But at the same time, they know what time of day it is.
Mhm.
Um, there can't be that many ignorant people in the world today. And then lastly, what was the last thing that I didn't that you said?
I believe that, okay, the minimum wage jobs stimulus, how he plans to stimulate the economy so that the amount of jobs increase.
Well, I mean, the president really doesn't control jobs as much as he says it. You either need intervention or innovation to, and then that will put people to work. I don't know, half the jobs that were in America are in China now, so or in Thailand or somewhere like that. If you really want to help the American people, stop giving tax breaks to companies that leave America. So if you left America and put your call center in Thailand, then guess what? You don't get American tax breaks no more. Go ahead on and stay on over there. But I can't reward a person for sending 25,000, 100,000 American jobs overseas because you don't want to pay American tax, um, tax-paying Americans a fair wage. It doesn't make sense, and until someone understands that you have to stop it, America won't get any better, and slowly there will never be a middle class again. There's no middle class here now. You got the haves and have-nots. If you make when I was growing up, middle class was 40, 50, $60,000 a year. You make 40, 50, $60,000 a year right now, you paycheck to paycheck. You got a little bit of money to save if you make 60, maybe in your 50s, but not much. So if you make 60,000 now, in the 90s, that felt like probably 40. So um, that being the case, I don't know why it's so hard for people in power to just do the right thing. And until people feel like they should do it, I don't know if the world will change too much.
You hit the nail on the head about doing the right thing. And I think we have a false sense of security in trusting that people will eventually do the right thing when it is inherent in us to do evil. We were born in evil and shaped in iniquity. And I think that's the whole premise that we are missing, and that we are hoping that mankind will become kind. It takes every effort and seeking the help of God to even do the small amount of kindness that we do. And when we dismiss God or discount what God says, that's what slims our hope of people doing the right thing and getting better. Because then where's our conscience if there is no consequence, as we've discussed before?
Well,
You know,
so many people don't believe in God no more. So I mean, where at a time that was a huge part of Black culture.
yes, yes,
That's really not the norm no more. I mean, I remember it used to shock me when I used to see Black people that didn't believe in God and go to church and stuff. It don't shock me no more. So many don't believe.
right,
Some
right.
ways I can believe and understand why, but some days I don't. Um, yeah, I always call them the woke folk. They know so much, but they don't know anything. It's like people act like two things can't be true at the same time. And a lot of times, two things can be true at the same time. I had a friend who made a post today and it had Jesus on the top. Then it had Malcolm, Martin, and I want to say it was what's the other brother name who died in the six Mega Evers. It says Jesus didn't die for me. These men died for me, right? And it breaks your heart, right? Now, um, I don't like to disregard people's feelings about stuff because I believe that anybody with common sense understands that the picture that we see of Jesus is not Jesus, all right? It's an image or ideology of um, who he is, but it's not him. It's like, and so as much as I acknowledge that, it doesn't mean that he doesn't exist. It
Right.
doesn't mean that he didn't die and rise on the third day. It doesn't mean that he's not the son of the living God. It doesn't mean that he didn't heal people and didn't take, two fish and five loaves of bread and feed the multitude, that he didn't heal people and do all the things that the Bible says he did. It just means that some people mismanaged and misused who he was for their own evil. And so those two things can be true at the same time. So people act like two things can't be true. Um, and even when you look at other religions and Muslims, even acknowledge Jesus. Right? You've never seen a Muslim say he didn't exist or that all the things that the Bible says about Jesus weren't true.
Right.
They just say that God can't have a son. They look at him like Moses, but they believe that everything the Bible says he did, they believe he did it. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I don't argue about the stuff anymore. I see people say some things and I just kind of just shake my head at it because it's not, I can't change a mindset, but I understand why people feel that way. I mean, since we've been in America, the majority of white people haven't been nice to black people. Okay. And let's just be honest about that. That's just what it is. Now, even the ones that were so called not like that stood back and watched their family and friends treat us just like that. You know, hundreds and thousands of black men have poured 10, 20, 30, 40 plus years in prison for crimes they didn't commit, all in the law, in the name of racism. Okay.
Yeah.
And white America hasn't done anything to stop that. They allowed that to happen. Um, you see them get upset now, and you saw more people come out in the Chauvin case. But where were they when Trayvon was killed? When all the other things have happened. Um, I would just say that I get why black people don't have the faith that maybe they once did, but you don't have faith anyways because the word and who Jesus is not about your carnal thinking, it's about your spirit. And if your spirit man isn't growing, I mean, half the people that spend their time dogging Jesus don't even go to church or don't read the Bible. So, I mean, what are you supposed to do about that?
Exactly. Yeah, that's all truth. I agree with every single word of that, and it's very astute. And when you were talking about dichotomies and two things, believing in more than one thing, I just wanted to emphasize that sometimes people don't expand their knowledge. They get one portion of the knowledge. Uh, they graduate from Google University. They Google everything, and they don't realize sometimes that that's just data that's inputted by a biased human being, that's inputted by people with opinions. So what you get is information, and algorithms based on coding of people who have their own bias, and history is history. All nations acknowledge that Jesus did exist, did do what he said he would do. But like you say, some do not acknowledge him as Lord and Savior, the Son of God. But all nations acknowledge that Jesus is a historical person, a historical character that walked on this earth 2,000 years ago. And 2,000 years ago is not that long ago.
Even when you listen to somebody like, Brother Farrakhan, even that brother acknowledges Jesus. I don't give it. I don't get it. Now, ain't nobody more pro-black than Louis Farrakhan. I can tell you right now. And
Right.
even he preaches about Jesus.
Jesus was an actual person. So people cannot refute it.
People that say stupid stuff, but hold on for a minute, Cheryl, because when you sit up, your head cut off. So let's just take a second and adjust that camera one more time. See if we can push it back so we can get you at a most comfortable level.
All right, I'm going to try this one more time.
We'll get you there. No. Oh yeah. Perfect. But now I can't hear you. What in the world, Cheryl? Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, Cheryl. Oh my gosh. We gonna get it there, Cheryl. We gotta have some patience.
Hold on.
Let you down, baby.
Technical. Testing 1, 2, 3, testing.
I can hear you right now. We just gotta make sure that when you sit down, I can hear you.
Okay, I think the way I had it, it was covering the speaker. So as long as you can hear me now, I'm gonna adjust it.
Said we won't wake up just to wait, and that's it. Possible.
Can you hear me?
Lord have mercy. I can hear you fine, but your head, I'm just talking to a shoulder.
No, that's easy to adjust.
Yeah.
See, that's just easy.
Yeah.
It was just making sure the camera. See now.
There we go. Yeah, we own some now. Yeah.
Yeah. The tripod was covering up part of the sound.
Okay. Yeah, well, I just want to make sure I can't have my homegirl Cheryl go do the whole show and then they couldn't see the pretty face. You know what I mean? We got to get you right.
So was it cut off the whole show?
No, but when you sit up and stuff, at first I'm just listening to you. I'm looking at you, but at the same time, it's like it took a second. I was like, wait a minute, Cheryl head gone again,
Yeah.
But we'll work it out. I mean, Cheryl, I don't care, what the topic is. Sometimes people want to do what they want to do, and ain't nothing wrong with that, I guess. But at the same time, there's no um, um, just because it don't work out the way you wanted to work out. I mean, sometimes you just got to take accountability for not doing what you're supposed to do. So there's no accountability piece. It's like I'm at work, and even here, it's I sit on Facebook, and lately I haven't even been on there really the last couple of weeks. I don't know if you paid attention to my page. Normally I'm promoting.
I haven't even been up there. I haven't even been there.
I've been slacking a little bit. I haven't really been promoting on Facebook. I go on and say my happy birthdays and stuff like that. And then yesterday I posted a picture because a dear friend passed away, and me and my brother and all of us, that from back in the day, I took a picture of them and posted that. But I will say that um, people put misinformation out all the time. Okay. Matter of fact, I had a friend. She posted this post trying to sound woke, and part of the post was talking about how, you know, trying to come into my territory about buying homes. You know, said something about don't take a 30-year mortgage, pay a 15-year mortgage, pay it all your save money. You know, if you buy insurance, buy whole life on you, term on the kids, some stuff like that. It's like, one, you so woke, you don't even know you can't buy term on a child. The only way you can buy term on a child is to put a child as a rider. But you said lock in a rate. So while you're sitting here talking and babbling about something, you giving misinformation. Okay. So all it's because you're articulate and you sound smart, people will start believing that stuff. And it's like, then it makes my job that much harder. Okay, you don't sell a child term insurance. You sell a child whole life insurance. Why? Because you lock a rate in and you give them insurance for the rest of their life and you build cash value. Now, sometimes you're talking to people and you say, well, then they hear people like that talk. So when I'm trying to help them insure their family, they say, well, I don't want no term. I heard all you're supposed to buy is whole life, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? No one is a bigger fan of whole life insurance than me. I make more money selling whole life. Do you understand what I'm saying? But what's the most important thing? The most important thing is that you have total and true, your life is insured, right? So that means that if your pocket says I can only afford $200,000 a whole life, but I got the need of insurance for 1.5 million of insurance, why are you focused on spending $200 and only having a fraction of your insurance needs met? And then if something happens, then your family's in disarray, right? So no, if I got a $1.5 million need for insurance, how about we take $1.3 million and buy it in a term? And if you can afford 200 in whole, then we buy 200,000 in whole. Now, your need for insurance isn't always going to be the same. If you got kids, the kids going to be grown. If you got to pay a mortgage, the mortgage will be paid off. So when you're 30 years down the road, the mortgage is gone. That 200,000 whole life now is probably worth 400,000, and that's enough for you to leave to a surviving spouse. Blah blah blah. Right. In the meantime, if you die and along the way, then you got 1.5 million that the family can pay a house off, send children to college, make sure you can raise kids, replace income. Right. Well, let's not be an idiot forever. If a person says, okay, I got 1.5 million and you die, nobody's gonna come to me and say, Mr. Coles, I know that my sister was your client. Um, did she have term or whole? They ain't nobody gonna ask me that. They gonna want to know what did they have, how much was it, and when they can get it. They ain't asking me was it a term or whole. Okay, and so if we trying to leave legacy and legacy wealth, let's stop being ignorant about the vehicle. If I'm in Virginia and I need to go to New York, I can catch a train, I can go drive a car, or I can fly a plane. What difference do it matter which way I got there as long as I get there? One way might get me there a little quicker, one way might get me here a little longer, one way might be a little less expensive. We're gonna get to the same destination. Like, what are we arguing about? Stupid stuff. Um, so when I look at politics, all that stuff just kind of comes together for me. Okay, we won't listen to nobody unless they don't look like us. Or if they look like us, then they got to be a celebrity because they somehow they can come from the hood and be ignorant as they want. But if they can play basketball, they can throw a football, or they can run fast, or they can sing songs, or if they can rap or do anything like that, all of a sudden they became like some type of Rhodes scholar and got all the answers to everything, which is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Rather than just listen to somebody that looks like you that specialize in that area. I'm never going to understand that.
Yeah. But speaking on things that we don't have expertise in, we have to be careful about that. We can't be many masters. We can't know
I don't
everything.
try. I don't try. I try to run my domain.
Young lady that you were saying giving advice.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sitting here, and listen, sadly, I said that's that piece is not quite right. That's a little bit inaccurate.
Mhm.
And they probably people on there probably thought I was hating because nobody never even said was not right about it, and they didn't question it. So because she probably has a level of cachet in the community, people just run with it. They don't want to hear what I got to say. They see that I got the name of my company in the background. They just think I'm just talking. But it's like, I don't know, man. I just, I listened to what you said to me a couple weeks ago, and I just try to keep my emotions kind of even till, and then I just do the best I can.
You make a good point when you gave the analogy about getting to a destination by different means and how you apply that to your product, the insurance product, whereas there's no one size fit all. By you can get there by boat, plane, automobile, bus, bicycle, motorcycle. But the point is that you arrive. And just because one product may not be good for you at one particular time in your life, as your circumstances change, as your family makeup changes, people are born every day, people die every day. As your career changes, you have a career, you retire, and even with the pandemic, people had a career, and all of a sudden they had no more career because everything was shut down. They were not even allowed to leave their homes. So circumstances change daily. There's one consistency in life, and that is change. Everything changes. And that's the way you have to deal with managing your insurance options, and don't get discouraged if one rule doesn't fit one situation or one season in your life or one circumstance. Just like life, your insurance package can be customized, modified, and updated to fit your circumstances as you mature and grow into life.
Because think about this, right? Let's say you got a 7-year-old and a 13-year-old, right? And let's say you married and you got a $1.5 million need. So part of that 1.5 is I have to pay a mortgage off, right? If something happens, I want to make sure if the mortgage has 10 years left, right? I don't need a 20-year term for that. So I'll sell you $500,000 term for 10 years. Guess what? Mortgage paid off for 10 years, that term ends in 10 years. Now I got $1 million need. Okay. I got $1 million need because I got to replace the income if something happens. While my children are still small, my wife still has to provide, or I got to provide if one of us leaves, right? Okay, that's fine. I do that until the youngest child comes out of college. So we say, okay, now I got $1 million term that's I got a 15-year term that brings the youngest child out of college, and then I can hold the rest. Does that make sense? So I got a 10-year term, I got a 15-year term. I can either leave a little bit more on the term and then do some whole, or I can leave the rest in whole. At the end of the day, all of the numbers are balanced out. Most of your insurance needs are met, and then you can do what you need to do for long and short term. And you can look at it, if you want to call it, if it was an investment product, they would say it was a diversified portfolio, which means it has a certain amount of stocks, bonds, real estate, blah, blah, blah. Well, you diversify your insurance portfolio. How do I need? When do I need it? How much do I need for said occasions? And then let's figure out how we want to go. I was at an appointment on Monday, and the lady was like, well, before you came, I already know what I want. Right now, we're trying to get ourselves together. We just want a couple $25,000 whole lives. We don't want our children. I don't want children worried about burying, having to go fund me if something goes wrong. So that's what I want. So I said to her, so you got the 7-year old. Who takes care of the 7-year old if something happens to you. I said, because I said, if I sell you this whole life at 25,000, funerals cost 10 to 20. If you want to get buried, headstone, you probably spent 13 to 15. I said, okay. If you spend 13 to 15, that means 10,000 is left for whoever got to raise your kids. Well, how long is 10,000 gonna last for a 7-year-old that still need clothes, daycare, food, college, right?
Mhm.
She says, well, don't worry about all that right now. You know, they'll figure that part out, blah, blah, blah. So I said, well, ma'am, why don't we do, you said that you can do more later, you can make changes later. So if you understand that you're gonna have to make some changes later, even if we want to work on you stopping the smoking, how about we put you in a term for 10 years, give you a year or so to stop smoking. I get you reevaluated, but in the meantime, at the same $40 or $50 you ready to spend, I can get you a $200,000 term versus a $25,000 hole. Now, if something happens, 10 to 20 will bury you, and there's $180,000 left, which means that the 80,000 they get pinch off to help raise the child, and the 100,000 you can pay for college. At least you have that taken care of. And as much sense as it made the husband, it made sense to him. He wanted to say, you know what, he's right, listen to the man, but he didn't have no cojones to really stand up to his wife. So this thing, you know, I did what she asked. And then I got tired of going back and forth with her. I said, you know what? It's not even in my best interest to argue with you about this no more. Sign right here. And that's what I did. I left. But I am not into this business just to make money.
Mhm.
And because I'm not in it to make money, even though you make a sale, you don't leave feeling good about it, because I left there knowing that if something happened to her right now, she's not in the best situation. But I did all I could to try to use the knowledge I have to try to bring her to help herself.
Mhm.
But if I were a white man, she wouldn't have argued with me one bit. She would have been like, you know what? That sounds right. Yeah, let me just go ahead on and do that. Like,
You
I
think so?
I know so.
You
We
think it
have we
that
have
just that she was stubborn because you were able to change the mind of the husband?
listen. He was my family, right?
And she said she had her mind made up before you even got there.
He did. But sometimes with us, we are slower to believe people that look like us. So you can pay attention. It's like, I don't care what business I've been in. I remember when I used to do this business called there's a network marketing business called National Motor Club, right? So National Motor Club is just basically like it's just like AAA, but it has all this other stuff with it. And I say to myself, when I ain't have a job, I was knocking on doors,
Mhm.
and I figure if I knock on 100 doors, I make 5 or 10 sales. I'm good, right?
Yeah.
So long and short, I remember being on a national call, and this white guy is saying that he just knocked on doors, went door to door, figuring that if he could make 10 sales a day, if he knocked on 100 or 200 doors, it don't sound like a good um, um, ratio, but 10 sales a day give you $1,000 a week or more, right?
Mhm.
No, it give you not about give you about $1,000 a day, really, right? So he was like, so he was sitting there saying that. So when he said it, I'm like, you know what? That do make sense to me. To go there and get this little thing and walk around, knock on these doors. People, people don't won't open the door. People won't talk to you. Blah blah blah. White people can go into our neighborhoods and sell to us, and they can go in their neighborhoods and sell to them. But when we go in white neighborhoods, we are second guessed all the time just because we're black. Especially as a black man, I'm 6'3" and a half, 300 pounds. It's always going to be caution to open that door for not everyone, but 80% of them. Okay. Well, if
Yeah.
I'm a white agent, I can walk into the whitest neighborhood, knock on every door. Hey, how you doing this morning? Hey, what brings you to the neighborhood? Okay, yeah, I want to talk to you about this, that. Come on in. Oh, yeah, we sit here, we'll share some information with you. I'm selling alarms or whatever I'm selling. And they go in these neighborhoods and with people that look like them and they make a lot of money. And then they come into our neighborhoods talking about the advantages of it, and half of us gonna buy. And that's why they can outsell us. They not going through the back and forth. They go in business, their families buy their products because they're family. We go into business, our families don't support what we're doing. They say it's a warm market. The market's not warm. So when you go into multi-level marketing businesses and people say, oh, it's a pyramid scheme, it's not a pyramid scheme. The pyramid is not a pyramid scheme. What it is we don't adjust to how the system needs to work, right? So for instance, I'm talking to Zachary, and I say, Zachary, if you come into this business, this is what the product does. We can do this. And if you can get 3 people to come along with you and show them how to repeat this cycle, then you can get this level and you can make this amount of money. Zachary goes to tech and all the places where his friends at, show them the product, get them on a call. They got their parents, aunts, uncles, all their friends and family on calls. Take $100 to start. You got a home-based business with tax write-offs if you need one, right? And this thing, you know, they're making $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month. And then people like you and me who go-getters and entrepreneurs, we'll see it and see them making all that money. Man, that does sound like a pretty good model. But when we come to our neighborhood, they'd be like, man, that ain't but a pyramid scheme, man. You know, they ain't want to do it. You just got to do all that, right? Ain't nobody got time for that. It don't work. Here's why it don't work. Because when we go to our neighborhood, they ain't just going to come out here and just let's go in business together and promote the product. They're going to wait to see what I do. So if I'm not successful, then they're going to say, that's why I ain't do it. He need to waste his money. He ain't do this. He ain't do that. And then the mess ain't work. Well, it ain't work because we don't work the system. The system works a certain kind of way for you to make money. Okay. So what you're going to do is because all of us sitting on the sideline just waiting to see what's going to happen. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. Not knowing you don't have to wait, right? Here's the truth. I've done a lot of multi-level marketing businesses. I can honestly tell you, Cheryl, I've never lost a dime. I haven't always made money with them all, right? I had a business called YTB, and it was your travel biz, and you could book your own travels and stuff like that. I paid $500 to get started, and then I paid $50 a month for the online portal, right? The reason I didn't lose no money, Cheryl, is because of this. I paid $500 to start the business, tax write-off. I paid $50 a month to have the online portal, tax write-off. Because it's a home-based business, I need my electricity, tax write-off. I have to travel and share the business, mileage, tax write-off. Like car insurance, tax write-off. Cell phone bill, my mobile office, tax write-off, right? So by the time I write all that stuff off, I got more. Even if I never make a dime, by the time I write off all that stuff, the mileage, itemize all that stuff that I did, I got more back than the $1,000 that I lost. So I haven't lost any money.
That's excellent point. But the key word is multi-level business. And I've been involved in multi-level business. And sometimes when people are not business savvy, they don't have business acumen, they can confuse multi-level business for pyramid schemes because they look similar. So right here, I want to give a tip as to how to recognize multi-level business versus a pyramid scheme.
Well, I got a tip. I can tell you that.
A pyramid scheme has really no product that advances your business. It's contingent on you have to have other people buy into the business, and their money is what supports the business. Sort of what Bernie Madoff did, that swindled the nation out of billions of dollars. So sometimes in the community, because people they're not business savvy, they get confused and get involved in pyramid schemes and confuse them for multi-level business. And I agree with you. When I was in multi-level business, I never lost because I had all of those benefits that you mentioned. So people do need to do their due diligence. They need to do their homework to be able to recognize a multi-level business versus a pyramid scheme.
And a pyramid scheme.
Well.
And then with a pyramid scheme, no matter what you do, most days you're not going to make money. See, only the people at the top will make money. A multi level marketing business, you can make some money if it's done the right way. Right. So, so the point of all of this is we try to grow growth in the community. 60% or more of why our community does not grow is on us because we don't trust one another. Now, think about this, Cheryl. Let's just say, for pretend's sake, um, I had somebody come in here and show me a business the other day, a friend of mine. I won't say the name because I ain't trying to promote it like that. But what it was this company that basically what I can do is pay my own cell phone bill, certain areas. I can move my electricity and stuff to that company, and I can get paid just paying the utilities that I pay every month. Show people how, three people how to duplicate. So let's just say for pretend's sake, I started a business. I need three people to come in. So I get you, Tammy, and my main man that you're gonna walk down the aisle with, uh, and the three of y'all are under. I bring y'all in, right? Okay. Then even though I'm meeting people, I put three people under you, three people under Tammy, three people under them. Guess what? Even if y'all are bringing three people in and you placing them, you still getting paid to do it, right? So you're not losing money if we go through the process. And if we go through the process, you know we're gonna find you're gonna have the residual return that they said you could have if you take a chance and go out here and just duplicate this process. Even if you're just buying the products on your own because of the money you generate because of the how the structure and the layout is, you would still make money. You wouldn't lose no money. So what do you do? Does the system not work, or do you not work? That's the question.
The question is, whatever you have to do your due diligence and make sure that there's a product or service, a tangible product or service.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, if you would buy the product or service on your own and you do not make money per se, you have to see a benefit of that business. You cannot just be in a business based on getting other people in the business and the residual of just recruiting people.
Yeah.
That
And money can't be the product.
yes, that becomes a pyramid. So
Yeah.
everybody has to do their homework, do
Well,
their
I
homework, their due diligence, and take a chance, like you're saying, take a chance.
I just say, well, I just say, um, I don't know. Maybe I think too much. Maybe I care too much. Sometimes I just say, well, you know, I want to see us do well. It's not that I don't want to see other cultures do well, but no other culture is 12% of the population and owns less than everybody and spends more than everybody and it is always at the bottom of the economic food chain as a collective. So I need to
Well,
get my culture together.
I was in a meeting this week, and
Mm.
it was it was a business meeting, and I believe it was very productive. But someone made a comment about including Black businesses, and Black businesses sometimes have to charge more um, because they have the startup costs and the maintenance costs, and they may not have as much money. And I had to interject because that therein lies the problem, is the narrative. We our words can give life or take away life.
But there's a
And
lot of truth to that, Cheryl.
uh,
There's a lot of truth to that. I'm gonna give you a prime example.
we keep promoting the same narrative and getting the same situation. I had to interject and say, not all Black businesses are small businesses. That's
Well,
the
that's true.
narrative that other companies are banking on us to keep repeating so that they can discount the submissions or the competitive businesses that are more than capable of competing with large businesses. They're more than competent. They have the product, they have the staff, they have the integrity. But if we keep perpetuating the same narrative, oh, all small businesses are, all Black businesses are small and they need a handout, we'll never be on a competitive footing.
Yeah, yeah, you never get that. I agree with that. I will say this. I remember in the 90s, there was a place in Richmond called Community Pride, right? It was a superstore. And I didn't like Community Pride. You know why I like Community Pride? Because they were always and around the projects. So whether you're in Fairfield, Wickham, Creighton, Mosby, um, on South Side, you see Community Pride. You can walk there. People catch cabs there, get their groceries. All they sold was Food Line brand for the most part. They didn't really sell a lot of the name brands, but their Food Line brands and the rich food brands was charging more than Del Monte, for crying out loud, right? And I'm sitting there like, why in the devil is this dude taking advantage of his own people like this? Because it was a Black-owned store, right? Okay, so we fast forward. He was married to one of the U-Crop daughters, right? So what was going on was, for him to get his supplies, the same people that were supplying U-Crops and all them other stores was charging him double the cost. Okay, so for him to turn a dollar, it looks like he's taking advantage of the community, but really they're taking advantage of him. So he had to sue them. He had to sue them all because of what he was doing. And he ended up buying, I forget the other grocery chain, but it was a big chain. So he ended up suing everybody and he won millions of dollars, right? But the point of all of it is that happens probably more than you think, right? So even when you look at, like, I know sisters that started selling like shops where like they're selling hair, and same thing. They sell them their hair more than they selling these Chinese people their hair. And so this thing, they, to turn a profit, it's like they look like they're charging you more. They're not charging you more. So the way to around that, we got to support our businesses and our community, and we have to help them make some money and put them in a position to be successful. So now they can go back to the drawing board and say, listen, these are my clients. I'm going to go somewhere else and find me a supplier that can give it to me at the cost I need so I can take care of my clients, right? And until that happens and we hang in there together, it ain't going to matter. I will just say that we have to do our part to hang in there. Nothing is 100%, right? So, like you say, we can't keep perpetuating all of it, because sometimes you can speak stuff into existence. But is there that there? Yes, it's happening probably more than you think. But we got to do our part. We have to stick together.
We are, just by you sharing that story about that grocery owner, you just, taught me something. Whenever I learn new knowledge, I make it my point to share it. I share it with not only my people, but I share it with people that are claiming to be our advocates and allies. And then we speak truth to power. In other words, we're not whining and begging anybody for anything. We're standing up for what we believe in and standing up for what is right, just like that brother did with the grocery store when he was able to get his data and show, look, this is what's happened to me as an individual. He had the power to sue them and be restored. So it looks like, a lot of people are not helping, but my philosophy is one person can make a difference. I can make a difference as one drop in an ocean, and compared to the ocean, it looks like nothing. But one drop can make a ripple, and a ripple can make a wave, and a wave can make a tsunami of change. So that's why I don't discount one person doing something to better another person, because we are a point of light and we light a bigger and bigger candle till we all can see. That's how the term woke came about, because little bit at a time, somebody nudged us and we woke up a little bit.
But
And
they took it out of context, though.
A little differently, and a few things started changing. So no, I appreciate your point of light, your point of view, because that's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, I pay attention. Listen, I've learned a lot of things the hard way, and I don't tell anybody that they want to do it the way I did it. You know, I do okay now, um, but 22-year-old Darren was lost, right? 22-year-old Darren, nothing was going right. The best job I ever had was Wendy's. I was trying to sell drugs. And I was in a really bad place. So 22-year-old Darren didn't know what I needed to know to help myself move forward. What I do pride myself on is no matter how lost I was, when I came across people that knew more than me, I always listened. I never turned nobody away and said, no, 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 I think I know a different way. I mean, you think about it. When you and I met, I hadn't long come home from the army. I had been home about 5 years, I think. And I think I hadn't got sick. Had I got sick? Yeah, I had got sick. So I think I was in my early 30s. So I was just kind of in the beginning of getting myself together by the time you and I met. And even though I kind of doubted, like growing up, I never felt like I was smart. So I got some woman sitting here telling me, boy, you are smart. You a smart guy. I'm like, what are you talking about, Cheryl? Right? You're like, you're sitting trying to gas me up. Right? And, I will say that was hard because no one ever made me feel like that before. Right? But I never said, Cheryl, I ain't trying to hear what you're talking about. I listened to everything you said. Matter of fact, even though things didn't look like they was headed that way, as soon as you told me I could get a certificate and be a counselor, the first thing I did was call George Reynolds Community College and see what I had to do to get the certificate. But they told me they have no such thing like that. So I didn't know what to do. But even though I didn't go to school for that, I went to school for human resource management, which has a level of counseling in it, right? And so I started going to school for that, right? But even though it didn't work out from the standpoint of me wanting to be a psychologist, it worked out that it made me go back to school, if that makes sense, right? So what I'm trying to say is I've never just shunned a person away. I don't care if a person does business with me for real, because I just want you to hear what I have to say. If you hear what I have to say and it doesn't make sense, you don't feel like it's good for your family and none of that other stuff, then God bless you. And I appreciate your time just like I would if you would have bought something, right? It's no problem. The thing for me in business or anything else, when I know I can help people, is you won't even listen. I can't even tell you. I can't even get 30 minutes of your time. And it's like, okay, well, you say, man, I'm busy. It's like, I've been so busy, I just don't know when I got time to do it. It's like, how are you broke and busy? How is your credit busted? I don't have no money in the savings. I don't have no life insurance. I don't have no retirement strategy. How's all this stuff going on and you too busy for somebody to give you some free information? That don't make sense to me. It'll never make sense to me. Like that doesn't sound right. It shouldn't sound right to anyone. Now, if you say, I got all this going on, man, give me 30 minutes, an hour of your time. And I tell you something in those 30 minutes or an hour, and you say, you know what? I heard what he said, but that doesn't sound like a fit for me. God bless you. I don't have no problem. But to stay where you are, not get any information. And listen, this is not just strangers. I mean, I family. I mean, I was talking to one of my cousins the other day because we had death in the family, and she was like, "Man, I've been working at my job for 40 some years." She said, "I could stop now, but I want to go get to 50 years, right?" So I said, "Well, when you're ready to take that money and turn it into retire, into guaranteed income, come talk to me. I can help you do that." She looked at my shirt and see the company on the shirt. Said, "Okay, I ain't know that's where you was at right now." She said, "I don't know. I'll keep it in mind, but I don't know if I'm gonna call you though." I said, "You don't know if you're gonna call me?" I'm like, "Well, who you think you're gonna call and put you in a better place?" I represent the largest mutual insurance company in this country. I said, at least let me give you some background and give you some examples about what I can do for you. I'm just trying to help you. Yeah, I hear you. You just blew me off, right? Like I work for ABC Financial. I'm never gonna understand that. And white people don't do that.
Well, as our time comes to a close, we have a few minutes left. Let's just leave the people with a couple of tips of moving forward. We always want to leave them with a couple of tips, and we had so much good conversation today, so many takeaways. Let's just recap really quickly for the people. First of all, what I got from this conversation with you are tea time together,
Man,
TEALITY, a little touch of reality, our opinion. But what I got from you, the takeaway, main takeaway, is not be afraid to take a chance on your future. A lot of people sometimes are afraid of new ideas. And in our conversation, our dialogue, what I added to that is do your due diligence, do your homework, because there is a difference between a multi-level marketing business and pyramid schemes. Not all businesses that call for recruiting others is a pyramid scheme. One of the richest women in the world started door to door, and that was Mary Kay. I love, love, love Mary Kay products. And my downfall from selling Mary Kay is that I was too busy spending all of my money buying Mary Kay because I loved it so much. But that required some recruiting, but you had to buy products, you had to sell products. And, I love the business. I not on you, you said how I encourage you to do something different in your life. And you went to get your counseling certificate and it didn't work out the way that you did. But think about it. You are now currently a counselor. You counsel people on their life decisions and in the industry of insurance. So you did ultimately become a counselor. There's so many different types of counselors. So you were looking at the couch counselor, but God had you looking at the insurance counseling arena. So in essence, I didn't steer you wrong. I never lied. And you accomplished your goal. You are now a counselor. But the point is, when someone gave you advice, you did not just dismiss it. You saw how, if it was applicable to your life and you worked on it. And that's the takeaway I want people to take away from this session today. Don't be afraid to learn something from somebody. Sometimes if our cup is already full, God can't add anything to a cup that's already full. And if he does, it's just going to spill over as trash and waste. So if we're going to be a know-it-all, nobody can ever tell us anything. It's just going to spill over as waste. And you are the perfect example. When you heard better, you did better. And that's the way I look at it. I'm always learning. And when people do things in this nation, racism, Israel, I know the president and the vice president said America is not racist. I kind of disagree, but that's not a death blow for me.
Well, they're not
Because
the only ones that say
I look at people and I have the Luda philosophy, ludicrous.
I got
When
to
I
hear that.
move, you move. So I
Oh,
look
really?
at people that are making moves that are positive, and I move just like that. That's the way I live my life. I live by the Luda principle, and I live by the Bible that says, love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. That's all. That's all. That's my whole business mission vision. And God blessed me so much that He blesses me shaking, pressed down, running over. I no matter how much I give, it's like the Lord just throw blessings where I'm always having too much for myself that I have to share. So I
Absolutely.
think people to take that away. Don't be afraid to try, and don't be afraid to listen to someone. Don't be so prideful that you can't learn something from somebody.
Absolutely. Because everything doesn't have to cost money. And for me, for one, listen, I'm not a person that's just sitting here and I will just turn somebody away because they don't have money to talk to me, right? You may not be in a position to buy life insurance. You might not be able to start a Roth account or a traditional IRA or start saving for retirement. Maybe you say, I don't even know how to save yet. Give me a call. Let me do a budget for you. Let's see where you spend your money and how to organize, and so we can help you do better. Maybe you said my credit is busted. Well, let's sit down and have a conversation about how credit works and how to fix it, how to build it, where you need to go, where to get a copy of your report from all the companies, and let's see what's on and put a strategy together to start paying some of that stuff off a little bit at a time. Then your credit will get better, right? Let's start where you are, you know, and then I help you get started where you are. Now let's figure out how to add other things that you need. And that's how you make change. You're not going to change everything at one time. And I understand that everybody is not going to have $200 a month, $300 a month, $1,000 a month, or even 50 sometimes, right? It's not even about that. I care about the community. I want to see us do better. And if I can't educate or share information, then I don't know how to do that otherwise. So I look forward to continuing doing what we're doing, sharing information. What I want to do is I want to get with you, uh, and maybe I put a PowerPoint together about credit,
Oh, that would be awesome.
and then I'll run through that PowerPoint. And then if you want to ask whatever questions as it pertains to it, then our viewers can have an understanding.
And also for our viewers, so that to make it easy, all of our sessions are going to be on mosttv.net. I don't know if everybody can see that. Mosttv.net. That's where all of our top topics are going to be from now on. Even if they want to jump in on while we're talking and ask a question. Anybody that goes to mosttv.net, the number's there, they can jump in at any time. So we might have a session, information session, and people might say, oh, when they talk about such and such, it's going to be a date beside each session, and you could go to that date. But instead of uploading, downloading, going on all this platform, just go to the website, mosttv.net, and you can look at any one of these episodes. I'm going to make sure they're uploaded, and you push the date that you want to go back and listen and learn, because you give out a lot of information each session about how people can start their plan for their future. You know, to be flexible and build their portfolio and manage it and change it. So,
Well, look, I'm going to have it. What I'm going to do, if you want to look through it, I will send you a copy of the PowerPoint. Um, and then what you need to do next week is just make me a co-host on the thing,
yeah,
and that way I can flip through and share the screen.
yeah.
And then we'll just do our next session will be about that. And if a person want to ask questions, they can ask questions. Now, usually it's just you and I. It can still be you and I, or you can invite people and see who wants to show up while we do it. And then if I can answer any questions. Um,
I'm going to send out a feeler. If anybody has a question about insurance and how to get started in building a portfolio, and if we get any questions, I'll just shoot them to you.
but next week, we're talking specifically about credit.
Oh,
So
really?
that's what I was saying. So if you want to do the credit, I'm talking, I got a PowerPoint that kind of talks about it.
Oh, specifically about credit. Oh,
It
okay.
talks about that savings and different things like that. I can answer questions about insurance at any time. And then there are mechanisms in insurance that helps with the credit and savings piece. So typically when I'm in prisons and churches, I'm kind of covering all of it through the credit piece. But if you really want to, have a breakdown in education and stuff,
There's some that you present, and any questions people have, they can always shoot it to you.
they can always shoot it to me. So I'm gonna send you the PowerPoint, and then if you are okay with it, then let's go ahead on and make that happen and try to get as many people on board as want to be.
Okay, okay.
Um,
Well, you have a blessed week, and I thank you for another great session. You are so bright, so intelligent, so articulate that if you had not followed your calling, I would be sad, and God would miss out on having such a fine soldier representing him. So
Well,
keep up
thank
the good work, stay on the wall. And I'm so excited about how you're helping your community. Um, this is a godsend. Thank God for you. And we'll see you next week, Lord willing.
you, Cheryl. I always appreciate you. And I'll see you next week.
Talk to you then.